I'm Nicholeen Peck. I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And this video is all about summertime chore tips for families. In this video, I'm going to share a true story about my family, and then I've got some great tips for you for how to help the chores happen in a harmonious way. So a number of years ago, when all of my children were still at home, we had a family meeting. And don't worry, I'll talk in a minute about what a family meeting is. But in this family meeting, my children decided that summer would be a great time to do no chores, because we do chores all year round, right? So they didn't want any chores to happen. My husband and I thought, this will be interesting. I wonder how their summer will go if they don't really do any chores. Could they miss the chores? So we gave each other a little wink, and when it came time for the vote in the family meeting, we voted for no chores too. And we really did no chores. Like, none of us did chores. Even me and Spencer, that's my husband. We didn't do dishes. We didn't do any of the normal things like laundry, sweeping, making the food, nothing. And you know what happened? After just a little bit of time, my children said, "Could we talk a little bit about chores? I think it's important that we do chores as a family because we want dinner and because we actually want to have our dishes clean and stuff like that." Plus, what they realized is it didn't take that much time to get those chores done, and it really did make it so that they had something to focus on those early mornings of the summer. So what did my children learn? My children learned there's actually a point to work. They actually think that it's valuable to do some of the work. They're glad that we do our chores too, and that really it doesn't take that much time. So this was the thing. After about a week of that, we revisited the topic in the family meeting, and then the children decided to vote to do chores. And they said, let's spend a certain amount of time doing chores, and that way the chores won't take the whole day. Because I think that's what they were worried about most. We were all on board with that. That's one of my top tips for you, is make sure you schedule the time the chores take instead of focusing so much on the content. So I have many tips for you that should make chore time easier this summer. But first, how about you tell me in the comments what the attitude is about chores in your house? And let's see if I can help you a little bit with that once I hear what's really going on at your place. So let's go back to time, not content, because that is probably one of the most important principles, I would say, of doing any kind of project or work whatsoever. So what is it that you are trying to do with the work? Is it work, or is it because you have to get something accomplished? Now, when you're making dinner, obviously you want it to get done. When you're doing dishes, obviously you want it to get done. But you can determine, well, how much time does a chore like dishes normally take? Well, it doesn't usually take more than 10 minutes. So let's just say we're going to do dishes as a family for 10 minutes. If the whole family does the dishes, honestly, it's going to take you about 4 minutes. That's the truth. It only takes 3 minutes to load a dishwasher. We timed it. And if everybody's helping with a different part of the project, it's really not going to take you that long. So if you tell the family, we're going to work for this much time, then sometimes that makes chore time more bearable. Now, I just mentioned doing dishes together as a family. This is a great idea. In fact, of course, our children should learn how to do a chore themselves, but the way that they learn to love work and to be confident at work is by working with you. So I do believe in having family work time. I think that in the summer, it is the best time to do even more family work time. There are big projects that we want to accomplish in the summer. There's that yard we've got to get in shape. There's the garage that we want to clean out, the painting that we might want to do at a certain room. Let's bring the children along with us in those big projects and do family work time. Now, when you do your family work time, set blocks of time up. Say, we're going to work on this for a half an hour, or we're going to work on this for 1 hour. Usually when I would do outside time, I would tell my children, we are going to do yardening, that's yard work plus gardening together. We are going to do yardening for 2 hours today. And they would keep track of the time. And when the 2 hours was done, they would say, Mom, our 2 hours is up. Is it okay if we move on to something else? And I would say yes. Sometimes I would stay out there because I wanted to get a certain amount done. But oftentimes I would come in with them. We would do something else like read a book or something and then just revisit it again tomorrow. Some things like yard work are never done. So if you don't schedule the time, you'll get trapped and your children will feel like work means it never ends. Another great thing that helps instill a love of work is actually projects. So like I mentioned, painting a room, organizing the house, doing some big thing like building a clubhouse, that actually takes a lot of work. That type of project is a project that children would definitely get invested in. Also, if you give them a certain area of the yard that is their garden, they have to keep it green and growing, and they have to keep it tidy and maintained. That project will make it so that they feel like they are doing something important, something that's all them. Let them choose what to pick. In fact, tell them whatever they grow in their garden plot, you will pay them for if they want to sell it to you for the family to eat for dinner. So that means they even then have a business. They can sell their produce to their parents that they grow, but they have to take care of it. So project work is great work. It teaches the cause and effect to working so well. So what about those daily chores? Have them happen at the same time every day. That just makes things easier. It doesn't have to be first thing in the morning, but it is nice to get them out of the way. Maybe have a family meeting and discuss when the best time is for your family to get those chores done. And if everybody votes on the time, then hopefully they'll stick to it a little bit better. We're going to talk more about family meetings in just a moment. So before we get to family meetings, which I do think are a big part of really helping everybody buy into the work environment at the home, make sure that you give your children the opportunity over time to have a stewardship. So first, they're learning alongside you, working with you, learning to have a good attitude about work and about chores in general. They learn they can do them quickly and that they're no big deal. Then, once they get to that point, allow them to have a stewardship. Say, okay, this bathroom is your stewardship for the entire week. So you get to make sure it looks clean and presentable all the time. If you're picking things up regularly, it might not take you that much time. You have to make sure that these things get accomplished at least once throughout the week. So maybe washing out the tub or washing the floor or cleaning the mirrors or something. But they have to check on it regularly. If they're checking on an area, they're looking for what needs to be done. This teaches them how to see when work is required. So let's talk about the family meetings. Family meetings are very powerful because they help the whole family have a say on how the family government is running. This helps everyone buy in. It gives them a reason why they would actually follow through with some of the legislation that is made within the family. Why they will accept consequences? Well, because they actually helped come up with some of those consequences in the family meeting. So in my parenting course, which is the TSG parenting course on teachingselfgovernment.com, and in my book, Parenting a House United, I talk about how to run a great family meeting. Now, I know many people talk about family meetings, the importance of family meetings, but I've got to tell you they are power. Family meetings are the means of getting the family back on track, but this is only if you know how to do a really great family meeting, which actually a lot of people don't. My parents started doing family meetings when I was young. They called them family councils, and they almost always turned into family fights. They were not effective at all. But when I started doing treatment foster care for troubled teens, and when I raised my own children, I decided that we were going to have a plan for our family meetings. Family meetings would have a certain time limit allotted to them. We would track them. Everyone would get the opportunity to lead the family meetings. These would be powerful components. We would not point point fingers or single people out and their bad behaviors in a family meeting. We would discuss things in broad terms, and everyone would determine the family meeting was an important time that they needed to gather for. There are so many more things that I could teach you about family meetings, but you'll want to find yourself first learning about how family meetings fit into all of your parenting and the skills that you and your children learn. So definitely go to teachingselfgovernment.com. There are family meeting journals there that will help you learn more about taking votes in a family meeting and how to make it so that children don't run you over in your family meeting too. But also, there are skill books there, like Parenting a House United, that will help you learn how to calmly and effectively correct your children and get them on board with all of your parenting. Go to teachingselfgovernment.com.